Are you waking up in the middle of the night? Not once or twice, but so often you've lost track, only to feel like you never quite finished the job? Have you ever tried to describe that phantom ache, that deep, burning pressure in your pelvis to your doctor, only to be met with a shrug and a handful of pills that barely scratch the surface? If you're over 50 and any of this sounds all too familiar, stop what you're doing and listen up. We're talking about prostatitis, a silent epidemic of discomfort, frustration, and confusion affecting millions of men just like you. You've probably been told it's just part of getting older, an inevitable side effect of time, told to swallow the pills, avoid a few things, and live with it. But what if that's only half the story? What if the secret to silencing that nagging pain isn't about what you add to your routine, but what you cut out? What if the real culprits behind your misery aren't some mysterious illness, but a handful of everyday habits that keep fanning the flames of inflammation day after day? The power to reclaim your comfort, freedom, and peace of mind lies far more in your hands than you've been led to believe. The cure isn't some distant futuristic breakthrough. It's here, right now, in the choices you make today. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the 10 hidden enemies of your prostate. We'll count them down from 10 to 1, and I guarantee you'll be surprised by a few. We'll dive into the latest science and expert insights from leading urologists. This isn't just a list, it's your battle plan. Stick with me until the very end. By the time we're done, you'll have a clear, actionable roadmap to start feeling better today. Let's begin the countdown. Enemy number 10, tight pants and jeans. The 10th hidden enemy, your addiction to ultra skinny jeans and snug, slim fit trousers. You might shrug and think, it's just a fashion choice. How could my pants harm anything down there? But when it comes to the delicate systems in your pelvis, squeezing everything into a denim corset is a recipe for trouble. Here's how tight clothing wages a silent war on your prostate. Overheating. Your groin is designed to stay a few degrees cooler than the rest of your body. Compressing it in non-breathable fabrics turns it into a steam room, ramping up inflammation. Think of machinery running too hot. It breaks down faster. Your prostate reacts exactly the same way. Restricted circulation. Healthy blood flow delivers oxygen and nutrients and carries away waste. Tight pants clamp down on the vessels in your pelvic basin, starving tissues and trapping inflammatory byproducts. The result? Stagnation, swelling, and chronic irritation that feed prostatitis. Constant mechanical pressure. That snug waistband and pinching seams press on your perineum, the area between scrotum and anus, jabbing nerves and aggravating an already sensitive prostate. It's like prodding a bruise 24/7, triggering aches, fullness, or sharp flare-ups. The fix is simple. Swap tight jeans for classic or relaxed fit pants made of natural, breathable fibers. Cotton or linen are top picks. Even your underwear should give your body room to breathe. You'll look just as sharp in well-cut chinos or loose-fit denim, minus the daily stress on your prostate. One small wardrobe change can go a long way toward dialing down inflammation and starting a peaceful truce with your body. Enemy number 9, uninterrupted sitting. Coming in at number 9 is an enemy so common, so integrated into our modern lives that we don't even see it as a threat. We see it as normal. I'm talking about prolonged, uninterrupted sitting. The desk-bound disease, the commuter's curse. You wake up, you sit down for breakfast. You sit in your car or on a train to get to work. You sit at a desk for 8, maybe 9 hours, with only a brief walk to the lunchroom. Then you sit on the drive home. And what do you do to relax? You sit on the couch and watch television for a few hours. Without even realizing it, you spent 8, 12, maybe even 14 hours of your day with the full weight of your upper body pressing down directly on your pelvic floor and the delicate structures within it, including your prostate. We think of sitting as a neutral, resting state. The latest science tells us this is a dangerous illusion. For the male pelvis, prolonged sitting is an aggressive act. Imagine your prostate gland as a small, soft sponge. Now, imagine putting a bowling ball on top of that sponge and leaving it there all day long. The sponge would be crushed, flattened, and all the fluid would be squeezed out. This is a simplified but accurate picture of what's happening inside you. This constant pressure does two terrible things. First, just like with tight pants, it drastically restricts blood flow. When you're sitting, the arteries that supply the pelvic region get compressed, and the veins that drain it get squeezed. This leads to a phenomenon known as pelvic congestion. Blood pools in the area, becoming stagnant. This stagnant, deoxygenated blood is pro-inflammatory. It creates a low-grade, chronic state of distress in the tissues. Second, the direct physical pressure can irritate the pudendal nerve, a major nerve in the pelvis that plays a huge role in urinary function and sensation. Irritation of this nerve can mimic the symptoms of prostatitis perfectly, creating pain, tingling, and urinary urgency. Many men who are diagnosed with chronic prostatitis may actually be suffering from a condition caused or worsened by this nerve compression, all stemming from too much time in a chair. Recent studies using advanced imaging have shown a clear link between the number of hours a man spends sitting and the prevalence of lower urinary tract symptoms. The data is undeniable. The chair is an enemy to your prostate health. The solution isn't to quit your desk job. It's to break the cycle of uninterrupted pressure. The key word here is uninterrupted. Your body can handle sitting for a short while. It can't handle it for hours on end. You need to become a dynamic sitter. Set a timer on your phone or your watch for every 30 minutes. When it goes off, you stand up. You don't have to do jumping jacks. Just stand. Stretch your legs. Walk to the water cooler. Take your phone call standing up. If you're watching TV, get up during every single commercial break. These micro breaks, these small acts of standing rebellion, prevent the pooling of blood and give your prostate and pelvic nerves a vital moment of relief. Investing in a standing desk, even for part of the day, can be a game changer. Your body was designed for movement, not for being a statue. Enemy number 8, the hold-it-in habit. Our 8th enemy is a habit born of convenience, politeness, or sometimes just plain necessity. It's the habit of holding it in, consciously ignoring your body's signal that you need to urinate. You're in the middle of a meeting, on a long phone call, or engrossed in a movie, and you feel that familiar urge. What do? You clench, you ignore it, and you tell yourself, "I'll go later." You might think you're exercising discipline, but what you're actually doing is setting up a cascade of negative effects that can wreak havoc on your urinary health. Let's look at the mechanics of this seemingly innocent act. Your bladder is a muscular sac. When it fills with urine, it sends a signal to your brain. When you decide to hold it, your brain tells the sphincter muscles around your urethra to stay clamped shut. But the pressure inside the bladder continues to build. This built-up pressure is the first problem. A constantly overfull bladder exerts significant physical pressure on the prostate gland, which it sits directly underneath. For a man with an already enlarged or inflamed prostate, this is like adding insult to injury, potentially worsening symptoms of obstruction and discomfort. But the far more insidious danger lies in a phenomenon called intraprostatic reflux. This is a critical concept to understand. Your prostate gland is not a solid organ. It contains tiny channels, or ducts, that secrete prostatic fluid into the urethra during ejaculation. When the pressure inside your bladder becomes excessively high from holding it in, it can actually force small amounts of sterile urine backwards from the urethra into these delicate prostatic ducts. Think about that. Urine, which is a waste product full of metabolic irritants like uric acid and mineral crystals, is being pushed into a place it absolutely does not belong. The internal lining of the prostate is not designed to handle this. According to urological research, this reflux is considered a primary trigger for the chemical inflammation that leads to chronic non-bacterial prostatitis, the most common type. It's like pouring a mild acid into a sensitive piece of electronic equipment. It causes irritation, inflammation, and pain. It can create a sterile inflammatory response that the body then struggles to shut off. Furthermore, holding it in for long periods can weaken the bladder muscle over time, making it harder to empty completely when you finally do go. This residual urine that stays behind can become a breeding ground for bacteria, increasing your risk of a urinary tract infection, UTI, which can then easily spread to the prostate, causing acute bacterial prostatitis, a severe and painful condition. The solution is profoundly simple, yet requires a significant mental shift. Listen to your body. When you feel the initial urge to urinate, treat it as an important biological signal, not an inconvenience. Make it a priority to find a restroom within a reasonable amount of time. Don't push it to the limit. Before you get in the car, before a meeting starts, before the movie begins, empty your bladder. This isn't about being weak. It's about being smart. It's about respecting your body's plumbing and preventing the back pressure buildup that is a known enemy of your prostate. Enemy number 7, hot and too spicy foods. Let's talk about spicy food, because what you eat can either soothe or savage your prostate. Our 7th enemy is one that many men cherish, especially those who love a good kick in their meals. I'm talking about intensely spicy and pungent foods. The hot sauces, the chili powders, the 5-alarm curries, the wasabi that makes your eyes water. The common thinking is, I eat it, it goes into my stomach, and that's the end of the story. How can a jalapeno in my taco affect my plumbing? It's a logical question, but it misses a key part of our biological process: excretion. Whatever your body can't use from the food you eat has to be filtered out and removed. Many of the chemical compounds that give spicy foods their heat are not fully metabolized. The most famous of these is capsaicin, the active component in chili peppers. After you eat a spicy meal, capsaicin and other volatile compounds are absorbed into your bloodstream. Your kidneys then do their job, filtering these compounds out and dumping them into your urine to be excreted. This is the crucial part. Your urine is no longer just water and urea. It's now a concentrated solution carrying these potent irritants. Now, imagine you have a sensitive, inflamed prostate gland, a condition known as prostatitis. Literally means inflammation. The tissues of your prostate and your urethra are already tender, swollen, and angry. As this capsaicin-laced urine passes through your urethra, which runs right through the center of the prostate, it's like pouring chemical irritant directly onto an open wound. This directly triggers an inflammatory response. It can cause a burning sensation during urination, increase urinary frequency and urgency, and lead to a flare-up of that deep, nagging pelvic pain. Many men with chronic prostatitis can trace their worst flare-ups to a particularly spicy meal they had the night before. They might not make the connection, blaming it on something else, but the link is well established in urological practice. This doesn't just apply to chili peppers. Other highly pungent foods, like excessive amounts of raw garlic, onions, horseradish, or certain intense curries, can contain volatile compounds that are also excreted in the urine and act as bladder and prostate irritants for sensitive individuals. Does this mean you have to eat bland, boring food for the rest of your life? Not necessarily. The key is moderation and awareness. If you are currently experiencing symptoms, it is highly advisable to completely eliminate hot and spicy foods for a period of several weeks to see if your symptoms improve. This gives the inflamed tissues a chance to calm down without being constantly provoked. Once you're feeling better, you can try reintroducing them very carefully. Have a small amount and see how you feel over the next 24 to 48 hours. You are your own best detective. Your body will give you the feedback you need. You may find that your tolerance is much lower than it used to be, and that the momentary pleasure of a spicy dish just isn't worth the days of discomfort that follow. It's about choosing foods that create comfort, not conflict, within your body. Number 6, consumption of alcohol. This next one is a tough pill to swallow for many, as it's deeply ingrained in our culture of socializing, relaxing, and celebrating. Enemy number 6 is alcohol. Whether it's beer, wine, or hard liquor, regular consumption can be one of the most significant triggers for prostatitis symptoms. The problem with alcohol is that it launches a two-pronged attack on your prostate. It's a double-edged sword that cuts you both coming and going. Let's examine both sides of that blade. The first attack is dehydration and irritation. Alcohol is a potent diuretic. This means it makes your kidneys produce more urine, causing you to urinate more frequently. This process flushes water out of your body, leading to a state of dehydration. When you're dehydrated, your urine becomes more concentrated. As we've already discussed, concentrated urine is loaded with waste products and is a major irritant to the lining of the bladder and the prostate. So, that beer might seem like it's going right through you, but the urine it's producing is more aggressive and more likely to aggravate your existing inflammation. It's a vicious cycle. Furthermore, the breakdown products of alcohol, known as congeners, which are found in higher concentrations in darker liquors and red wine, must also be excreted in the urine, adding another layer of chemical irritation to the mix. The second, and more systemic, attack is inflammation. It is now a cornerstone of modern medical science that alcohol is an inflammatory substance. When you drink, it promotes a state of low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. For a gland that is already defined by inflammation, prostatitis, this is like pouring gasoline on a fire. The alcohol circulates through your bloodstream and directly contributes to the inflammatory processes happening within the prostate tissue itself. It can increase swelling, pain, and overall discomfort. Many men notice a dramatic increase in their symptoms the day after drinking. They experience more urinary frequency, a greater sense of urgency, a weaker stream, and a significant uptick in pelvic pain or discomfort. They might attribute it to a bad night's sleep, but very often it's a direct inflammatory reaction to the alcohol. Recent studies have also pointed out that alcohol can affect the muscle tone of the bladder and pelvic floor, sometimes making it harder to fully empty the bladder, which can exacerbate symptoms of benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, that often coexist with prostatitis in men over 50. So, what's the path forward? The most conservative and effective medical advice for a man suffering from active prostatitis symptoms is to eliminate alcohol completely for a period of time. Think of it as a medical intervention, not a life sentence. Give your body 4 to 6 weeks of being alcohol-free. This allows the systemic inflammation to decrease and gives the prostate a genuine chance to heal without being constantly provoked. After this calm down period, if you choose to reintroduce it, do so with extreme caution and mindfulness. Stick to clear liquors like gin or vodka, which have fewer congeners in small amounts. Avoid beer, which is a major diuretic, and pay close attention to how your body responds. You may find, as many men do, that the feeling of being pain-free and in control is far more rewarding than the temporary pleasure of a drink. Number 5, too much coffee. In at number 5, we have the world's most popular morning ritual, the trusted companion of early starts and long afternoons. Enemy number 5 is too much coffee. For millions, a day without coffee is unthinkable. It's the fuel that gets the engine started. But if you're battling prostatitis, that fuel might be causing your engine to sputter and backfire. The primary culprit in coffee is, of course, caffeine. And much like alcohol, caffeine wages a war on your urinary system from multiple angles. It's a classic bladder irritant and a diuretic, a combination that can be pure misery for a man with a sensitive prostate. First, let's talk about its diuretic effect. Just like alcohol, caffeine signals your kidneys to produce more urine and to do it more quickly. This leads to increased urinary frequency. If you're already getting up multiple times a night, or you feel like you're constantly running to the bathroom during the day, caffeine is pouring fuel on that fire. It's artificially creating the very symptom you're trying to get rid of. Second, and more importantly, caffeine is a direct bladder irritant. In the medical world, it's known as a bladder-bothering substance. The compounds in caffeine can directly irritate the sensitive lining of the bladder wall, known as the urothelium. This irritation sends gotta go now signals to your brain, even when your bladder isn't actually full. This creates the sensation of urgency, that sudden, desperate need to urinate that is a hallmark symptom of prostatitis and overactive bladder. When your bladder is in this constant state of irritation and spasm, it puts more pressure on the surrounding area, including your prostate, worsening the cycle of pain and discomfort. It's a neurological irritation as much as a physical one. Furthermore, coffee is highly acidic. While the body maintains a stable pH, a highly acidic diet can contribute to overall inflammation. For some individuals, the acidity of coffee itself can be an additional trigger, exacerbating irritation in the urinary tract. The effect is dose-dependent. One small cup in the morning might be tolerable for some. But if you're the type of person who has a large mug to start the day, another mid-morning, and another to get over the afternoon slump, you are bathing your urinary system in irritants all day long. The solution requires some honest self-assessment. The first step is to reduce your intake. Try cutting your current consumption in half. If you drink 4 cups, go down to 2. If you drink 2, go down to 1. See how you feel. The next step is to push that first cup later into the morning and never have any caffeine after, say, 2 p.m. This can dramatically improve nighttime urinary frequency. The best case scenario for someone with significant symptoms is to try a complete caffeine detox for a few weeks. Switch to non-caffeinated herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint, or a high-quality decaffeinated coffee. Be aware that even decaf has trace amounts of caffeine. Many men are absolutely shocked at how much their urinary urgency and frequency calms down once they remove the constant stimulation of caffeine. It allows the bladder to finally rest and the signals between your bladder and brain to normalize. It's a powerful step towards regaining control. Number 4, constant stress. We're moving up the list toward the most powerful saboteurs, and in the 4th spot, we meet chronic stress. In today's high-pressure world, we wear stress like a badge of honor, bragging about being totally stressed by work, money worries, or family drama, as if it's simply part of modern life. Yet recent research into chronic pain uncovers a devastating connection between your mind and the muscles of your pelvic floor. For many men, stress is not merely mental discomfort, but the key physical driver behind prostatitis pain. When your brain senses a threat, whether it's a wild animal in the jungle or an angry email from your boss, it kicks in the fight or flight response. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline, preparing you to fight or flee. As part of this reaction, certain muscle groups tighten automatically. Most people notice tense shoulders or a clenched jaw, but few realize that the pelvic floor muscles clamp down just as strongly. These muscles form a sling beneath your torso, supporting bladder and bowel function and influencing urinary and sexual health. Under chronic stress, they move from being flexible and supportive to locked, tense, and spasming. This constant tightness squeezes the prostate, restricts blood flow, and irritates the delicate nerves that weave through your pelvis. The result feels exactly like prostatitis, a deep ache, a sense of fullness, or that burning tingle. A destructive feedback loop then takes hold. Stress leads to pelvic muscle tension. Tension causes pain. Pain generates more stress. More stress tightens the muscles further and intensifies the pain. Breaking free from this cycle is crucial for lasting relief. Simply telling yourself to relax will not do. You need active techniques to calm your nervous system and release your pelvic floor. Deep belly breathing engages the vagus nerve, the body's natural off switch for fight or flight. Just a few minutes can begin to unwind pelvic tension. Mindfulness meditation, yoga poses that open the hips, and Tai Chi also help shift your body out of chronic stress mode. For many men, working with a physical therapist who specializes in the male pelvic floor is life-changing, as they teach targeted stretches and hands-on methods to loosen stubborn muscles. Managing stress is far from optional in your treatment plan. For men suffering chronic pelvic pain, it is the treatment plan. The tension in your mind shows up as tension in your body, right where it hurts most. Learning to relax those muscles is the path to real relief. Number 3, not drinking enough plain water. This enemy is deceptively simple. It's not about what you do, but what you fail to do. Drink enough pure water. In a world of coffee, soda, energy drinks, and juices, plain water often gets ignored. Many go through the day drinking plenty of fluids, yet very little of it is actually water. This chronic, low-grade dehydration is a major problem for your urinary health. You might think that if your prostate is irritated and you're rushing to the bathroom, you should drink less to avoid the urge. That idea always backfires. Your body clears waste by dissolving it in water and flushing it out as urine. When you stay well hydrated, your urine is pale and diluted, flowing easily and gently soothing your bladder and prostate. When you drink too little, your kidneys conserve water and produce a small volume of highly concentrated urine. This dark yellow or amber liquid is loaded with irritants and crystals. Passing it over inflamed tissues feels like washing a wound with salt water. It stings, it burns, and it fuels more inflammation. Many men notice that their burning and urgency get worse when their urine is dark. Good hydration is a simple but powerful therapy. Drinking enough water keeps your urine light in color and helps flush your bladder regularly, reducing the risk of infection. Aim to sip water steadily throughout the day until your urine is consistently a pale, light yellow. Carry a reusable water bottle and make plain water your go-to. If you find it boring, add a slice of lemon or cucumber. Avoid relying on coffee or sugary drinks, which can dehydrate or inflame. Water is the clean, essential solvent your body needs to calm inflammation and maintain healthy urinary flow. Don't neglect it. Number 2, a sedentary lifestyle. This goes beyond simply sitting for long periods. It describes a daily pattern of minimal movement. It includes your hours at a desk, evenings spent on the couch, weekends lost in a book, and always taking the elevator instead of the stairs. This constant inactivity directly opposes the way our bodies evolved to move. Walking, running, climbing, and squatting kept circulation strong and pelvic muscles flexible. When you stop moving, blood flow in your pelvis slows and pools, creating a stagnant, low-oxygen environment that encourages inflammation. At the same time, weak core and pelvic floor muscles, poor posture, and excess belly fat all contribute to chronic inflammation. Belly fat even acts like an endocrine organ, releasing chemicals that fuel inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. You don't need to train for a marathon. Instead, reintroduce gentle, regular movement into your day. A brisk 30-minute walk each day boosts pelvic circulation without impact. Swimming and water aerobics support your weight while keeping you active. Simple hip-opening stretches help release tension in the pelvic floor. By choosing movement over passivity, you fight stagnation, improve prostate health, and enhance your overall vitality. Enemy number 1, the contemporary inflammatory diet. Here we stand, face to face with our greatest adversary, the most potent force that can steer you toward chronic illness or vibrant well-being. This primary enemy isn't a single item on your plate. It's the entire framework of today's Western eating habits. It's the pro-inflammatory fuel you're likely pouring into your body, meal after meal, day after day. More than 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates declared, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." The reverse is equally true. Food can become your poison. For a man contending with prostatitis, the typical American diet acts as a slow-release toxin, fundamentally, aggressively, and unrelentingly promoting inflammation. Let's peel back the layers of this foe, because understanding it is the first step toward freedom. First on the list are refined carbohydrates and added sugars. Think white bread, pasta, polished rice, sugary cereals, pastries, cookies, sodas, and fruit juices. These foods convert almost instantly into glucose in your bloodstream, triggering sharp blood sugar surges and insulin spikes. A vast body of modern research identifies these repeated glycemic roller coaster rides as a primary engine of systemic chronic inflammation. This goes far beyond mere weight gain. It cultivates an internal irritant that directly harms your prostate. Second, unhealthy fats deserve our scrutiny. I'm speaking of industrial trans fats, common in many baked goods, margarines, and fried snacks, and an excessive load of omega-6 fatty acids, found in ubiquitous vegetable oils like corn, soy, and sunflower oil. While some omega-6 is essential, today's diet tilts the balance too far, and this skewed omega-6 to omega-3 ratio stokes inflammation at the cellular level. It's akin to putting the wrong oil in your engine. It clogs the system and forces everything to run hotter and less efficiently. Third, we confront red and processed meats, beef, pork, lamb, and especially bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and deli slices. Numerous large-scale studies link heavy consumption of these meats to a higher incidence of prostate issues, including BPH and cancer. Why? Because these foods are loaded with inflammatory saturated fats, and cooking them at high heat produces carcinogenic and inflammatory compounds. Fourth, for some men, dairy can be a potent trigger. Proteins like casein can elicit an inflammatory response in sensitive individuals. If you're consuming milk, cheese, and yogurt regularly and still experiencing symptoms, a 30-day dairy elimination trial could reveal whether it's fueling your inflammation. At this point, you may ask, what's left to eat? The answer is a world of delicious, anti-inflammatory nourishment. This approach isn't about deprivation. It's about strategic substitution, choosing foods that douse the flames instead of fanning them. Your new allies are colorful fruits and vegetables. Picture a rainbow. The dark greens of spinach and broccoli, the vivid reds of tomatoes, rich in lycopene, a potent prostate antioxidant, the deep purples of blueberries, the bright oranges of carrots. These are bursting with antioxidants and phytonutrients that actively quell inflammation. Embrace healthy fats. Omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines are powerfully anti-inflammatory. Other sources include walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, extra virgin olive oil, and avocados. Choose lean proteins, wild-caught fish, pasture-raised chicken, and plant-based options like lentils and beans. Swap refined grains for 100% whole grains, such as quinoa, brown rice, and oats. Their fiber helps stabilize your blood sugar and supports a healthy gut, which in turn is linked to lower inflammation. Implementing this dietary overhaul is the single most transformative action you can take to shift your body's internal environment. It tackles the root cause of the inflammation driving your symptoms. It's the ultimate act of reclaiming control. So there you have it, the 10 hidden enemies that may have been secretly sabotaging your health and comfort for years. From the tight pants you wear to the chair you sit in. From holding back when you need to go to the spicy foods and alcohol you consume. From the caffeine that jolts you to the stress that clenches you. From the water you're not drinking to the sedentary life you might be living. And all the way to the inflammatory food that sits on your plate. As you can see, the path to feeling better isn't hidden in some miracle pill or a complex medical procedure. It's in the small, conscious, deliberate choices you make every single day. It's about identifying these enemies and systematically removing them from your life. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being aware. It's about starting small. Don't try to tackle all 10 at once. Pick one. Pick the one that seems easiest. Maybe this week, you commit to swapping your afternoon coffee for an herbal tea. Maybe you set a timer on your phone to stand up and stretch every 30 minutes at work. Maybe you make a conscious decision to choose water over soda at dinner. Each change, no matter how small it seems, is a profound victory. Each step you take is a step away from the cycle of pain and frustration, and a step towards a life of comfort, control, and freedom. You have the power to calm the inflammation. You have the power to soothe your body. You have the power to heal. If this video has opened your eyes and given you a sense of hope, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more no-nonsense health information that puts the power back in your hands. And now I want to hear from you. Your journey matters. Which of these 10 enemies was the biggest "that's about me" moment for you? What is the one change you're going to commit to making starting today? Leave a comment below. Sharing your story might just be the spark that inspires another man to start his own journey toward relief. Thank you for your time and your attention. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.